Hi guys, this is Fazan and welcome to today's session on Introduction to C by Great Learning. So before we start, can you guys quickly confirm in the chat if I'm audible or not? Just quickly write a yes or no in the chat. In the meanwhile, let's wait for others to join. Let me give you a quick tour of how our academy looks like. Just go into any browser, type in Great Learning Academy. Therein you will have this first link, that is this link, Great Learning Open Courses. Click on it and it will redirect you to this page. Herein you can see all the live sessions that are there in this week. You have Introduction to C, that is this one. Today itself at 4 to 5 we will be having Introduction to Docker, then data mining with Python in 45 minutes. These are all the live sessions. Plus we have some popular courses. These courses are for free, and if you're looking for some advanced PG courses, just click on it and click it, open it in a new tab. Therein you will have some popular courses as well. We have PG program in data science and business analytics. We have machine learning and AI. We have management. And if you want to talk to us, you have the number over here. You can give us a call and ask your doubts. Okay. So we have PG programs related to software development as well. So once these are all paid courses, okay, and if you're looking for something which is absolutely free, which we have courses available on them. We have data science, and these are all the courses on data science. Then we have IT and software. Therein we have data structures, Java, Python, ethical hacking, cybersecurity. All these courses are available, right? And if you're looking to learn in Hindi, we have courses available in Hindi as well. We have machine learning, Python for machine learning, Java in Hindi, C in Hindi, C++, React. All these courses are absolutely free and are in Hindi. Once the completion of this course, right, these courses, you will also get a completion certificate. You just have to answer 6 questions correctly out of 10, which will be obviously based on whatever you have learned in that course. Okay, there will be nothing new to it. Everything will be taught in those courses. All the assignments will be there, projects will be there, and if you want, you can add them into your resumes and LinkedIn profiles as well. Plus this completion certificate, you can always add these things in your resume. Okay, this will let the interviewer know, okay, you have learned something which is not in your syllabus, okay, out of your syllabus. Okay, with that thing being done, I can see, oh, okay, great. So we have, I can see some of you have joined. Okay, great. So now let's start. So what are the things that we are going to cover in this session? So we'll try to introduce C, right? Hello guys, hello guys. Duration of this course will be 1 hour. Okay, this is not a course, basically this is a session. We have individual courses available on C in our academy as well, in our YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, if you have subscribed, you will have all the sessions, all the videos that are on C, as well as plus some applications here and there as well. Okay, so where can I start practice? So first you have to learn the basics. UPSC, you have to learn the basics of C. This session will be enough to learn the basics. Then you need to learn and practice a lot. So this video will be available after this session is over as well. And plus, if you want to get a certificate, you can just go in our academy, which I just showed you guys, right, and get the completion certificate as well. How many sessions? For now it's only one. So there will be only one session, that is on C. Maybe if you guys want another session on C, we can arrange that. Okay, okay, cool. So what are the things that we are going to cover? First we will introduce the C language to you guys. Then we'll see the syntax, then comments, how to write comments, very important guys, tokens, then variables. Then we will see how to input things, like when you want to input something and when you want to get the output, what are the functions that we use, what are the operators that we are going to use. Then we will see data types, right, then operators, then we will see math, this is a library. Then we will see Boolean data type and conditional statements, how to write. This will cover if, else if, and all those things. Then we will see switch case, loops, and arrays, and finally we'll conclude our session with functions. And plus we will also see something related to pointers. And maybe if we are not able to cover all these things in this session, maybe we'll have a session or two. And if we are not able to arrange the second session, we always have GLA for your help. You can go to GLA or our YouTube channel. Okay, Is this thing clear, guys? Quickly confirm. Okay, so let's try to see what is in the introduction of C. So basically, it was developed by Dennis Ritchie, and this language is known as the mother of all programming language. Mother of all programming language. Why? Because in C there is nothing such as inbuilt, right? If you want to write a piece of code, you have to write it from the scratch, okay, which helps you to break to get the logic. If you want to understand the logic of your code, if you want to understand how your program works, what are the mistakes, because there is nothing available to you guys. Even if you want to sort, you have to sort it on your own, which is not the case in Java and any other language like that. Okay, so you have to write everything on your own. It's a robust low level programming language. It's a procedural language which follows structure, right? If you have, it's a procedural oriented, something known as object oriented, so it does not follow object oriented paradigm. There is no such thing as encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, and all those things. Okay, it supports various operating systems and hardware platforms. So it is supported by operating systems and hardware platforms. So it is a machine in, not an independent language but a dependent language. So it depends on whatever you write in this system will vary from the other system. Okay, if you want to execute a program, it involves two steps: compilation and linking. So first, this is something that happens during compile time. And if y is a low language, y c is a low language compared to other programs. So basically what happens in C, if you want to, just a minute, yeah. Okay, so C is a basic language with the programming language came into, yes, you can say that, Kashyap. Okay, you can say that. Okay, cool. So basically what is happening in C, first it whenever you write a program, it goes through compilation, and if all the things are correct, right, if there is no syntax errors and you have all the things, your syntax is in place, it doesn't check for the logic. Okay, it just for the checks for the syntax. If all the things are there, braces are written correctly, so it is compiled. Okay, then what happens, then comes the linking phase. Now this linking phase is that phase wherein if you have used any extra libraries, if you have used some libraries and you have used functions from those libraries, you are linked to those libraries. And this is there will be a lot of holes available in this. Whenever you compile, there will be holes, and when I say holes, it means that some libraries will be missing because you're fetching some code from those libraries and you have to include those things in your code. So those holes will be available, okay, when you're going to compilation. Now once the compilation is done, then linking phase will happen and these holes will be filled, and then after that what happens, your program starts executing. Okay, done. Now someone is saying, Anirudh is saying, why C level is a low level language compared to other programming language. So it's a low level language because it doesn't support object oriented programming paradigm. So there is no such thing as oops, right? Can we use APIs in C? And yeah, you can build, King says, can we use APIs in C? Yes, you can create games, you can create APIs, you can create these programs like Google Chrome. Okay, this is written in C and C++. Some part of it is written in C++. Okay, Google Chrome, C++. Okay, so all these things, Google Chrome, your Microsoft Office, MS Office, right? So that is also written. There's a piece of code that is written in C++. You can create games, Sudoku, right? That is created in C++. Okay. So you have different. You can create tic-tac-toe in C++. Everything can be created. APIs can be created using C++. Okay. So you can do that. Okay. But obviously that requires advanced knowledge of this language. Should not be restricted to beginner level. It should be stretched to advanced level as well. Okay. Okay, now let's see the syntax. So obviously now these are the preprocessor directives. That means these files are included in your program while you're having this. Let's suppose you're trying to printf. Now this is a function. Now you haven't defined it, so it will be available in your standard input output. So this is a library wherein this everything related to this printf will be there. Okay, so printf is used to push out anything on your console. So just printing out anything on your console, you use this printf statement. Similarly, you have this driver method, that is the main method. This is your driver method or your main method. This is where your execution starts. Okay, your execution starts from this method. Okay, I learn basic of C program after I want practice. Practice states. Can you just rephrase UPSC whatever you are saying? This is C++. No, this is a introduction to C, guys. Okay, I need practice questions. So you can go through you can go through any archive on Geeks for Geeks and start executing your codes. Obviously, if you want to implement data structures, algorithms, then you have to find out the questions that are being asked in different companies. You can search in that way, or you can start from like if you have covered these in basic topics, then you go onto the stack, or first start with arrays and start solving your questions on arrays. Okay, therein you have the archive for all the questions that are based on arrays, and you can implement it in any language. Okay. Do C helps? Not sure. No, no, maybe not, because this is not an object-oriented programming language. So yeah, Hacker is as well. Yeah, Hacker Rank, Hacker Earth, Geeks for Geeks, Lead Code. You have an archive wherein you can implement all these questions. Okay, all these topics, data structure wise, algorithm wise, you have all those things in place. Okay, so these are the files that you need to include. Then this get is the termination, wherein once you press any key, you have this console wherein you have the output, and when you press the key, you will be out of this console and into your browser, into your editor, whichever editor you are using. So let's suppose I'm using code blocks, which is one of the best editors in my opinion. Obviously it might vary. Okay, you might use Visual Studio or any other thing, so you can use code blocks. So once you press key, then you will be fetched out of it and you will be back to your IDE, that is code blocks. Okay, what is the link between data structure and C? So what is the link? So Mona Lisa says, what is the link between data structures and algorithms? So basically and C, so basically data structures is the thing that how you are storing your data, how you're arranging your data, how you're arranging your data in memory. So once you are know how you're arranging your data, right, only then you can decide, okay, are you arranging, obviously if you're using a hash set or hash maps. Okay, I'm giving you an example. Okay, so now you know, okay, you're using hash set or hash map to store the elements. Now you know, okay, if I fetch anything from hash sets or hash maps, the time complexity will be constant. So you can easily reduce the time complexity, you can easily reduce the space complexity, because we try to write our codes most efficiently and optimized in optimized manner. That means we don't want to use any extra memory. Okay, that shouldn't be the case. Okay, so we want to minimize our we want to minimize the cost that is associated with time and space. Okay, so only if you know how you're arranging your data, then you can just deduce these things. Okay, so now this data structures is always there. This will be same for all the programming language. Now with, if you want to implement it in C, you can implement it in C++, you can implement it in Java, any language. Okay, Python and all those things. Okay, so this is not, there's not a link. Data structure will be there and it will be same for all the things, all the language, but the syntax will vary. Okay, can we use C for WD? What does it stand for, Rudranj? So in hacking, which languages are used? You can use any language. Mm, so what is the extension for C? .c. Okay, so now let's see how to write comments. So these are most important things. Why? Because if you're trying to, okay, thanks Mona Lisa. Okay, so if you're trying to implement any code, right, you have written a piece of code and now you are sharing it, web development. Okay, can we use C? Not really, because if you're looking for front end, right, and if you're looking for back end, you don't see you cannot use C that much. Okay, why? For front end you need different tools, and for back end you are playing with the database, you can use Java, Spring, or Node.js. You can use Python and Django. These are all the backend tools, and for front end it is always going to be the case HTML, CSS, or Bootstrap. That's the framework of CSS, or you can use JavaScript, or you can use its library like React. Okay, React now is much more used. Okay, so when class starts, it's just started, guys. We just started this class at 12, and we will be finishing it at 1. Okay, cool. So now these are the things on the front end side, and the back end side that you can use these languages, not C really. Okay, C sharp, yes, you can use it, but C sharp is mainly, it's used for gaming. Yeah, Java, C sharp, Java is entirely different ball game, and you can there's a lot of legacy code written in Java, and there will be always job opportunities. But C sharp, it is mostly used when you're trying to build games and all. Okay. Cool. So what are the comments? Comments are the lines that are ignored by the compiler. Okay. So these are the lines that are ignored by the compiler. And why do you write it? To make notes and provide details. Let's suppose you're this Kashyap is trying to send code to Mona Lisa, and he says that, okay, he writes the comments, okay, this is the function wherein I am adding these two things. This is the function where I am swapping these two variables. Okay, all those things can be written, and this helps us to make our code much more readable. Okay, and how you can write it, you can have a single line comment or you can have a multiple line comment. So you let's suppose I'm writing, this is a single line comment. Now let me take an example over here. Okay, just a minute. Yeah, so let's suppose this is, okay, I'll write it here. So let's suppose this I want this line to be ignored, so I write this is the line that needs to be ignored. So I will write this double slash forward slashes, and that's it. Okay, I love programming to make a career in competitive. So you should definitely go for C++. Carnage, you should definitely go for C++ if you're looking for CP. Okay, competitive programming, and you should definitely go for C++. Or if you know Java, then Java is also good, but C++ is much more faster as compared to Java. Okay, so similarly you can write these double slashes or you can write these multiple line comments. So this is simple stuff, guys. So since we have a lot of things to be covered, if you have any confusion, if you want me to repeat anything, just write it in the chat. Okay, I'm continuously monitoring your chat. If I'm looking on this side, that means I'm looking at your chat, guys. Okay, good. So tokens, now this is the smallest individual unit in a program. Okay, now C supports following tokens. So there are these tokens, identifiers. Okay, so user defined names, variables. Okay, all those things are identifiers. Let's suppose you're defining a variable and you're naming it name, so this is an identifier. You have anything that you have defined, right? Not inbuilt or anything like that you have defined are known as identifiers. Then you have keywords which are inbuilt, obviously, if, else, all those things, while, do while, okay, return, all these are keywords, and they have a specific purpose, and you cannot use these things as what, naming your variables or functions or anything. I want to go for machine learning. Is Python enough for that? Yes, for the start, if you are just starting it, yes. Okay, Python is enough, but we have courses available on machine learning using Python, data science using Python. You can just go through them as well, Rudransh. Okay, constants, then you have constants which do not change their value. Okay, you have strings, which is nothing but a sequence of characters. Let's suppose I am naming this as what, Rudransh. Okay, Rudransh, I'm naming this as Rudransh, so this is nothing but a string which is a sequence of characters. Okay, then we have special symbols like preprocessor directives. Okay, these are the files that are these helps us to linking. When I told you guys about linking, these are the preprocessor directives, right? The hash symbols are used for that. Not only preprocessor directives, you can use these preprocessor directives for defining macros. Okay, so we'll talk about these macros and all those things later on, but yeah, so it's a cutting edge only. You can say that, yeah. So now these are tokens. Okay, so now let's see what are variables. So if you talk about variables, variables is nothing but a memory reference whose value changed during the execution. Now this is something, let's suppose this is your memory and you want to address this. Now instead of going for the address, let's suppose 100, it's a hexadecimal number. Okay, so instead of going for hexadecimal number, it is much more difficult. Rather than if we have something that is pointing to this memory and we can easily remember that thing, obviously we should go for that. So variables helps us to access that memory location. Okay, that memory reference whose value we can change or update, we can do anything. Okay, now why should we use it? Obviously handling the memory thing, it will be easy for us to handle. Okay, we can reuse the same memory location. Let's suppose we are storing 10 in this location. Now later on what we did x plus 10. Okay, now it will be 20, so we are updating this 20 and it will be storing 20 over here. Okay, right? So this is what we can reuse the same memory for storing different values and makes referencing values easier for us. Now we want to access this value, or we want to have the reference, or we want to change anything we want to do with this memory location. We have this variable, or we, in this case, we can say it also an identifier. Okay, so now how do we initialize this thing? So we have, basically we should always have a data type, that is which type of data, we'll talk about data types as well. Okay, which type of data you want to store, and then the name of the variable, the variable name. Okay, so let's suppose we are saying integer x or integer roll number. Okay, so we are going to store a roll number in this roll number value. Okay, mutable or immutable, I have learned till pointers variable. Okay, says mutable, so you can change it here. Okay, okay, Rudransh, you can change it. Okay, okay, I have learned till pointer variables. So the next thing is Carnage. Now what is the next thing? The next thing is, once you have learned the till pointers, you know everything regarding C. Now you focus on data structures. Okay, switch to data structures. Now once these are done, then switch to algorithms. Obviously do practice a lot these data structures, try to implement them from scratch. Okay, okay, so assignment, then you assign the value to this roll number, saying that okay, roll number is equal to 10. Done. Okay, now if you see the example over here, you have int, this is the data type, this is the name of the variable, and this is the value. This is the data type. We'll talk about these data types individually. So these are all data types, and these are the values. Okay, so now if you see this program over here, so we have this int main, right, and this is returning 0, and get is used to hold the screen, and 0 says that your program has executed successfully. So the process of execution of this program is successful, and you're returning 0 just to have that what you say what a keyword or the notation to the system, that okay, to the operating system, that okay, this entire thing has been executed successfully. So this is the notation that return 0. Okay, and get is just to hold the screen. Okay, so you have this integer variables a and b, which is 20, and this is 20.0, and this is 10, and then we are adding these two things. So what is this lf? These are access modifiers. Don't worry for now, you can just skip these things. We'll talk about these things later. Okay, in this session itself. Okay, so now we are just adding them, and that's it. Okay, we are printing all those things, a plus b, that is we are printing 10 plus 20.0, and then we are just printing also what, a plus b. Okay, that's it. Okay, so now the user input and output. So we have different functions that are used. So printf and scanf. Printf is used to print on the screen. Let's suppose you are printing hello world, so you will use this printf, and this will take in an argument which is always a string. Okay, so you will have always double quotes. Okay, hello, so hello will be printed. Now if you're using scanf, this means you are expecting something from the user to enter on the keyboard. Okay, so let's suppose I told you guys, okay, print enter number, so you will use scanf, then you will use, okay, is this an integer number? This is access modifier, we will talk about it as well. So then, okay, then we have this, whatever we have entered, we use the ampersand sign. Okay, then we enter this value, and it will be stored at this memory reference. Okay, okay, says double states for what? So it is again a data type. We will cover these things. Okay, Carney says too fast. Okay. Is it necessary to write a return statement? uh, uh, it will work, but it is recommended, Mona Lisa. Okay, it can work, but it is just what you say, notation to the operating system that everything that was done in this program has executed successfully. Okay, and then you just return it 0. Okay, it can run, but yeah, it is better to use the recommended way rather than going for something which is not recommended. Simple. Okay, it can run. Okay, that's not the case, it will never run. Okay, so double is used for, it is a it's a data type which stores which has a different size, and which will store different values. Obviously, which will store integer stores from 0 to from negative portion, there's a range. Okay, there's a negative range from 0 to the negative numbers, 0 and positive numbers. Now that range will be specified in the depending upon the size. Okay, the size of the integer. Okay, so now that is integer. Now if you want to store a decimal numbers like 20.0, 20.123, so for that you will use double. Okay, okay, Cool. As a person without language background, where I suppose start learning to develop career in IT industry, where I supposed to start learning and to develop career in IT. You can start anytime, Anu. Okay, we can use void and don't want to return the value from the function. Yes, you can do that, but right, the same thing, right, King? So if you want to give a notation that everything is working fine, you'd rather use return zero, because that is a recommended way. Again, you can use, okay, void main, and that will work also. Okay, so, sir, please, previous program on the previous screen, the output will be double or int. So, it will be, so you're just printing it and you're not converting it. So, it will be explicitly, you see, LF. So, the floating point will be there. So, it will be 20, 30.0. Okay. Okay, Archit, just run through this. Slide decks will be shared with you guys. So, don't worry about remembering these things. Okay. The slides will be shared. Okay, cool. So now this is a scanf and then get char. So get char is getting a character, only a single character. Okay, and from the now you are printing this single character, and for putting you are just using this what to have to you are asking the user to insert some character. Okay, please share some notes. Yeah, these things will be, Akash, these things will be shared with you guys. The slide deck that I'm using, it will be shared with you guys. Okay, so don't worry about it. So similarly, you can get string and you can just print out the string. So void, I didn't use it in C or C++. Void void means that you're not returning anything, Carnage. Okay, it is not recommended. That's why you might not have used it, because it's not a recommended way to write void main. Instead, you should always go for int main, because I told you why. So it is just a notation to your operating system that everything that you was written in this program has executed successfully. Okay, it's not recommended, but you can do it. You should know what you can do and what is recommended. There's a different entirely two different things, what is recommended and what you should write. Okay, I have seen void in books but not know. So exactly, so you have seen so it is just you can again the same thing, right, Carnage? So same thing, you can use void, but it's not recommended. You always write int main or those things. Okay, so the books that you should go for is Dennis Ritchie, right? C++, then there is beginner level. Then once you're done with, then you have your test your C skills. This is one of the best books. Okay, so once you are done with this thing, the guy who was saying that, okay, who was saying that I have covered pointers. So for pointers, the best book is Pointers in C by Yashwant Kanetkar. Pointers in C. Okay, Yashwant Kanetkar, you can go for that as well. Cover that, cover your Dennis Ritchie C, and then test your C skills. Okay, I don't know if PDF is available or not, but I back when I was learning C, I used to have this book. Okay, void is empty memory location. Guess no, not the it has nothing to do with the memory. It is just that you are not returning nothing from this function. Okay, okay, cool. So now the format specifiers I was asking about, I was telling you guys about. Okay, now scanf uses these things. Okay, and printf, obviously now you're printing, you should know what is the value that you're going to print. Is it an integer variable that you're asking the user to enter? That is when you're using scanf. Or is the integer value that you're printing? So you will again write %d. So for integer, you will write this format specifier. Okay, that is %d. And for floating points, that means your decimal values, you will write this f. Okay, %f. For characters, %c. For strings, %s. Okay, so now data types. Okay, Balaguru Swami reference. Yeah, you can go for Balaguru Swami as well. Okay, so Carnage, I have also learned till pointers. Okay, King says that. Okay, so guys, for Carnage and King, you should definitely, if you have covered pointers, I hope you have covered Pointers in C by Yashwant Kanetkar. You should definitely go for that. Okay, that's a very good book. And once you have covered all these things, then you can easily now test your skills with the help of this book that is known as Test C Skills. Test your C skills. And if someone has learning C++, he can go for test your C++ skills as well. Okay, that is also there. Okay, so now we have these data types. Okay, so we have primitive data types, we have derived data types, and we have user defined data types. Now this primitive data types, that means these are inbuilt and these are given by your C language. So you have Boolean, character, integer, floating point, double, and wide. Okay, so these are all primitive data types. Okay, so okay, so then you have derived, in which you can derive your you can write your own. Obviously, it will have derived will contain inbuilt as well. So you have an array of integers. So integer is an inbuilt, but it is a derived. So basically, you are using an integer array. You're storing. So Dennis Ritchie, I had Dennis Ritchie book for, yeah. You can go for Rudransh. That is one of the best books that is out there. This is from the creator itself, right? So you can go for it. So you have inbuilt data types, arrays, references, and pointers. So that, similarly, you have user defined, wherein you are defining the structure of your data types, right? So that is known as structure, wherein you can have multiple or not homogeneous. Okay, not homogeneous elements, meaning that you can have floating point variables, you can have decimal, you can have boolean, you can have integer, you can have anything in this structure, and the size will be calculated for all those things, right? If you have integer, you have float, all of them added up will be the size of this structure, wherein union will take the size of the maximum one. Okay, then you have enumerated data types. We'll talk about these things, maybe not in this session, but in the coming sessions or in our courses that are available. Okay, cool. So now, what are the operators? So obviously now once you have you have the intuition about what are variables, I refer to Java T point. Yes, you can go for that as well. That is out there as well. That is, you can go for it. It just gives you the basic intuition what the things are, and obviously it is good to go through that as well. Okay, and Geeks for Geeks is also there. You have these things. Okay, cool. So for which class is it? Ashish, yeah. Ashish says, this is for everyone, right? This is for beginner as well as for advanced one. Explain pointers. Mayank Garg says pointers. We will try to cover it, but it is on. First, we want to cover the basics, because rest of the guys who don't have any idea regarding the C language. Okay, so again, if I'm not able to cover it, we have a session and we have courses available on both our academy as well as on YouTube channel. You can go through them, wherein we have covered pointers as well. Okay, Mayank, cool. So now, what are the operators that are there? We have arithmetic operators, which are used for mathematical and arithmetic operations. Okay, so you can go for these operators whenever you're trying to whenever you're trying to do a mathematical operation. Let's suppose you're trying to add, you will use this operand plus, and you have these two operands, because this is in binary operations. You need to have two operands, and then this is your operator. Okay, so you are adding these numbers. No, now we can add, we can delete, we can, yes, it is advanced pointer. Okay, okay, so we have subtraction, we have division, we have multiplication, we have modulus, which means the remainder. So quickly, we also have something known as uh, okay, we have also something that are known as unitary operators, which operate on a single operand. Okay, so what will be the value of this thing? If I do printf x and I'm doing printf, don't go into the syntax, guys. Okay, I'm doing printf x plus plus x. So x is equal to 5. What will be the value? Quickly, sir, does this session will include the structures and unions? We'll try to cover it, but not sure if time allows. Okay, sir, please provide C interview questions. Sure, Mayank, sure, we'll work on that. Okay, don't worry. What will be the output, guys? Quickly. What will be the output of this thing? Don't go into the syntax. I'm just writing print. Obviously, I have to use print percent %d and then printing out the x plus plus. So what will be the value? So x is 5, and then I'm using this unary operator, x plus plus 6. Okay, so I'm using these two statements. Okay, Rudranj says 10. 6 and 5. No, guys, so now when I'm using this x plus plus, okay, So the answer will be, here we have 5 and here we will have 7. Okay, 5 and 7. Okay guys, so for the guys who were not able to answer correctly, or who are shy to answer in the chat, for those, this is a pre this is a post increment, okay, and this is pre increment. Okay, 5 and 7. Yes, yes, Abdullah. Yes. So this is a post increment, this is pre increment. Okay, so now what happens over here, this will increment it, but first it will assign it. First it assigns the value, that is 5. 5 will be assigned and that will be printed, and later when this step is done, when this statement is done, it will increment it to 6. Now what happens in pre, it first increments it, that means from 6 it will turn it into 7 and then assign it to x, and which is printed. So here you will have 5 and here you will have 7. Okay, sir, could you please provide the C material? Yes, yes, Kiran, this will be provided. The slide deck that I'm using will be provided to you guys. Okay, so don't worry, and also the session will be there. Okay, after once I'm done with this session. Okay, cool. So now this was your arithmetic operator. Now what are the relational operators? Let's suppose you're trying to find out which one is the greatest number among the three numbers. So you will use these relational operators: greater than, equal to, less than or equal to, equal to. So you will be using these things. Okay. So please, I don't have any idea for C language. Akash, go through this session if you have. Obviously I have been, so we are done with 30, we are almost past 36 minutes, right? So if you have no idea, just go through this session, go through the slides, go through this entire video, try to run it on the code blocks. You can use code blocks or you can use Dave C++. Okay, so you can go through these things and you can download these IDs and start practicing. Okay. Not sure, Abdullah. Maybe, maybe. Okay. Okay, cool. So yeah, these are some relational operators. Okay, we can use these operators, that is less than, equal to, greater than, less than, for comparing two operands. Okay, so this is your relational operators. Then coming back to logical operator, so it is used while we are checking the conditions. If a let's suppose I'm giving you an example of can you drive or not. Okay, can a learning license or can a driving license be allocated to you depending on the age? How many legends, like, okay, yeah, you can use Visual Studio Code as well, Carnage. Okay, so now what is happening, if you want to check, okay, are you going to have a license or not? Am I allocating you guys or providing you guys the driving license or not? So I will use the condition: if your age is greater than 18, and I'm putting up a constraint on my own, and it should be less than say 55. Okay, so if your age lies in between these two things, then only I will provide you the driving license. So you will use and if both, you want both these statements to be true. Okay, so if both these statements are true, only then you will get the driving license. Else, if there is no constraint, or you don't want to check the next condition, you can use the or operator. Okay, now I'm asking you guys a simple question. So and works in such a way that both statements should be true. Now if this condition is false, will it go to this condition? Yes or no? In the and, I'm using logical and. So this is a question that is asked in interviews usually. And they can complicate it. It's not that just they will ask you, will it go to this position or not? They will just write a printf statements in these conditions and all those things and try to find the output that is there. Yes, Varun Raj, correct. No, it will not go. Okay, so only if this condition is false, only if this condition is true, then it will check for this. If this is false, it will never go to this condition checking, which is not the case in or. Whenever you're using or operator, even if this is false, it will still go on and check this. Okay, yeah, like a you can say as like a circuit. Okay, Yes, okay. Now this is logical operator, and similarly you can have or and you have not. Okay, not is just a vice versa. If you are having true value, then it will be turned into false, and if you have a false value, it will turn it into true. Okay, if it is true, then the next statement will execute. Yes, Archit. Yes, correct. Okay, so these are your logical operators. Now bitwise, one of the most important for the guys who are interested in CP, that is competitive programming. This is the most commonly used bitwise operators. Okay, or you can say the operator that is most commonly used, because this works directly on bits, which is much faster. Okay, just more faster than anything. Okay, so it will directly works on bits. So bits, what I mean by bits, so let's suppose you have 8 and you want to find out whether this is an even number or odd number. Okay, you can directly go ahead and check. If its last bit is 0, then it's an even number. Okay, does this make sense to you guys? Quickly, if this is a number 8 and I want to check if this number is an even number, its last bit will be always 0. Correct? So what will I will do? I will say, okay, this variable is, let's suppose this is stored in a. Okay, I will say a, then I will use and 0. Okay, or let's suppose I will say if a and 1 is equal to 0, right? Syntax for not operator, so it is this, that's it. Okay, Varun, quickly, so is this thing clear to you guys? I'm saying if and 1 is equal to 0, right? So a will be turned into binary, so a will be 8, it will be something like this. I'm not going into the trailing zeros or trailing digits that are there or bits are that are there. I'm just considering these things: 1 2 4 8. Okay, so 8 is this, and it will be and with 1. So if the result is 0, because a and 1, that means both of these, I'm using and operator, so both of these when are 1, only then you will get a 1. Okay, if they are other than 0 1 or anything, it will give you the 0. So it will be something like this: 0 0 0, you will get output that is 0. So if it is equal to 0, then you can say that okay, this is an even number. Now if I'm doing this for the 9, I'm checking it for 9. So 9, it will be something like 1001, and when I'm doing an AND operator with this, it will result in 1. So this will not be an even number because 9 is an odd number. Is this thing clear? Yeah, binary form, Rudransh. Is this thing clear, guys? Quickly. And this is much more faster when you're using that. Obviously you can do it with the help of modulus operator, right, which we are using. This is a traditional system, right? So it will be slower as compared to these things, as compared to when you're dealing directly with bitwise operators. Is this thing clear, guys? Quickly confirm in the chat. Quickly, yes, no, anything? Yes, okay, great. Please explain again. So what I'm saying that if you want to convert a number, let's suppose, yeah, let's suppose you want to convert this 8, not a convert, but you have this 8 and you want to check whether this is an odd number or even number. Okay, so instead of using modulus by 2, obviously you can use it, but it is it takes much more time as compared to if we are using a bitwise operator. So you will say a and 1 if it is equal to 0. Okay, what do you mean by this one? Why this one? Because we know if this is converted into binary, it will be something like this, right? So now when 8 is converted into binary, it will be this. And now we know, okay, for sure that the last bit, if it is an even number, it will be always 0. Why? Consider any number, 16 or 18. So the last bit will be always 0. Okay, so the last bit for any of these numbers, any or even numbers, will be 0. So I'm taking that thing into consideration, and I'm doing if a and 1 is equal to 0. That means I'm doing 1 0 0 and 1. Okay, so now and is such an operator. If both of these statements are true, or if both of these are 1, only then it will result 1, else it will give you 0. So it will give me a 0 here, and then we have 0 0 0, so it will give me a 0 0 0. Okay, so if it is equal to 0, right, so if this condition holds, right, if this condition holds, then I can say that okay, whatever is in this a is an even number. Now if I'm doing this same thing for 9, it will be something like this. This is your 9, and I'm doing an AND operator with 1, it will be having 1. I don't care what this value is, okay? I don't care, really. I don't care what this value is. I'm just considering about two things. It can either be a 0 or a 1. If it is a 0, that means we are having an even number, or if it results in 1, that means this 9, obviously, which is an odd number. Done? Is this thing clear? Yeah, it is a little bit confusing, guys. So is this thing clear? I have explained it again. If you think about it, it will make sense. Okay, so going back to this, so you have bitwise. Okay, so mathematical operations can be performed in much more faster at much more faster speed. Okay, when you're dealing with bitwise. Okay, so you have bitwise and you have bitwise or, and you have what, bitwise nor or not. Okay, okay, great. So then you have assignment, which is nothing but you're assigning values. Okay, so if I'm saying x is equal to 10, that means this 10 will be assigned to this x. Okay, if I'm saying x plus 10, so let me just write it over here. So if I'm saying this thing, x plus equal to 10, what is the full form of this? Quickly, this is also one of the an operation is operation I same as multiplication in 1 comma 0, and operation I same as multiplication in 1 operation I. So Rudransh, can you just rephrase whatever you're trying to say? I'm not able to understand you. Okay, so in the meantime, can you just quickly confirm what does this mean? Quickly, guys. Yes, exactly. This means that I'm doing x equal to x plus 10. Okay, right? So yeah, so this is again an assignment operator. So you can have plus equal to, you have minus equal to, you have multiply equal to, you have division equal to, and modulus equal to as well. Okay, so these are all assignment operators which are used to assign the values to your variables. Okay, done. So x is added to 10 and stored in the same. Yes, exactly. Okay, done. These are all operators. Now what about concatenation, string concatenation? So you have great and you have learning, and you are concatenating it to great learning. So you have a string that is a library associated with strings, and you can use it like this. Okay, and what are the functions? I'll show you the program as well. You have your demo. So let me first go through the functions. All of these functions are available in this string.h library, so you don't have to calculate your on this on your own. Okay, you have string, that is the length. You can calculate the length of the string. You can copy the string from one string to into another. Okay, how to get the certificate? The certificate is not available for this particular session, Subhadeep. Okay, so if you want to get a certificate, that is your completion certificate, you can always redirect to our Great Learning Academy, GLA. Okay, and you will get that certificate. Obviously these things will be also covered in that. It will just give you a heads up to just cover that course quickly and go through the assignment, go through the quiz, and that's it. You will get the certificate. Okay, done. So you can copy string, you can concatenate two strings, you can compare two strings, you can change it to lowercase. That means if you have written a string is written it in this apple, you have this string and you are using strlwr, that is lowercase, it will be converted into apple. Okay, done. So similarly you can use the uppercase as well. So let's go to this demo. So you have this for printf and scanf if there are any, and you have the string library because we are using these functions to calculate the strings. Okay, so the length will be calculated. We are using this get s to get the string, the entire string, whatever we are typing in. Obviously the size will be there because it is a sequence of characters, so obviously it is an array, and array has a drawback. I told you, Wajid. Okay, I told you how to get a certificate. So array has a drawback that you have to specify the size. So size is there. So because it is a character array, in the end it is an array. So you have the size, and then you have these functions which you can use to concatenate string 1 with string 2, to compare string 1 with string 2. If s1 is equal to s2, it will return a 0. That means if you get the output as 0, that means you have the same strings in both s1 and s2. If s1 is greater than s2, if you get a positive number, that is positive value, that means s1 is greater than s2. Okay, if similarly you get less than value, that means if you get a negative value, that means s1 is less than s2. Okay, for those who are looking for complete coding classes. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, so this is a demo, and similarly you can use this lowercase, uppercase, and copying this S2 into S1. Okay, so slide deck will be shared with you guys, don't worry. Okay, so then you have this library, that is math library. So C supports a large number of mathematical functions. Like if you want to calculate the square root, you can just write math.square root sqrt. So similarly, you have different floor values, ceilings, and all those functions are available. And you just have to you don't have to write these functions directly. Okay, you don't have to think about them. Okay, you just include math.h, that is the library there, that is the math library, and you can have access to a lot of functions that are out there in that library. So you have standard, these are the files, and you have included your math.h file, right? What is ld? So this is a long double. Okay, okay, Mona Lisa. So it is just you have double, you have long. Okay, you have long double, you have float. So this is again an access modifier. Okay, so now you have these variables, and you see sqrt. Okay, sqrt si. Okay, so you can use this function directly, and then you have power to calculate the power, that is b raised power 3, and you have calculated this b. So you have this b over here, and you can just write minus 1000 raised power 3. Okay, so easily you can do these stuffs. Okay, so sine c, calculating the sine value, why it is used there. So just to have so in order to, if let's suppose your double is large, right, your double, you are having a long number, right, it's decimal long. Okay, you have a long number, and at that time it might cause the overflow. Okay, so if there, in order to avoid that overflow, that means some values will be lost, or the content that you are expecting will not be there. So in order to get that, you don't want any truncation to happen. So truncation is nothing but the part where you are removing these things. Okay, so let's suppose you have 3.2222, and you want to truncate it, so you use truncation, and this 3 will be, you will always only get the 3, so this portion is lost. So similarly, if you have a number which is obviously which is like 20.00, yes, yes. So now let's suppose you have a number, and you don't want any of the information to get lost, so you will use this long form of any number. Okay, it can be a double, it can be an integer. Okay, so you can use it. Okay, floating point, for floating point as well as for integers, just or in order to not, you can obviously you can use a floating point as well, or an integer %d or %f, you can use that. But if your number is large, you don't want any of the information to be to get lost. Okay, I will try to cover those things, but we only have 7 minutes left, so that's why I'm rushing through these topics, so that you can get an intuition where is what. Okay, how to go move along with this thing. Okay, or even how to get started, so that you can just go out there and search it on the Google, what are the things. This is just a heads up, guys. Okay, so then you have Boolean. Okay, so in order to cover one or two, this is a Boolean, this will only have two things, right? What? 1 and 0. It can either be a true or it can be a false. Okay, so you have different sources available as well. If something is not covered, don't just wait for things to happen, go out there and search it. Try to explore different things. Stack Overflow is there, lead code. If you have stuck, go and try to find it on Stack Overflow. You have a huge bunch of people working on that, continuously monitoring that, answering the doubts of people. Okay, and also you have GitHub. Okay, you can post your questions on there. Okay, so you have different sources. Right now you can just, you don't get stuck usually. Okay, and plus, if you want to go through the sources, you have Great Learning Academy, you have our channel. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, subscribe. You will get a bunch of the videos that are here. Obviously, C is also covered, C++ is also covered, Java, Python, all these courses are available, and these are all for free. You don't have to pay anything. Okay, so for YouTube as well as for our Great Learning Academy, the free courses which I showed you guys in the earlier at the starting of this session. Okay, right? So in order to declare this, you will use this bool keyword. Okay, this is just to state that, okay, whatever we are going to store in this x, It can either be 0 or 1. It can be either true or false. So this is bool keyword that you are going to use. Okay, so you see this example, this is a small demo that is there. So you have machine is working. If a machine is working, you write the true value. Okay, so you have defined this machine variable and you have initialized it to true. That means this machine is working. So since this machine is working, you are printing it true. Now something happened and you placed a false or initialized this value to false. Example for program of Boolean. Yes, that is it. Okay, okay, so you have this machine is working and you initialize it to false. Then somehow it has stopped operating and you can just write, okay, now its value is false. Okay, so this is a simple example. Obviously it is used while you're checking the conditions. So let's suppose if a is greater than b. Okay, again, if a is greater than b, let's suppose 5 is greater than 3. So what is the value that it is implicitly converted into? Implicit means that this is automatically converted into what? And Boolean. So it will turn into true if this is true. Okay, so in this case it is true. A is greater than b, that means this is true. Done. We'll have this whatever is in this statement. Okay, similarly, if this is not true, you will get a result as false. Okay, done. And same thing happens for loops as well. Okay, so I'm not going to cover conditional statements because then I will be going, I have to cover these things. I wanted to cover these things, but we are not able to cover this thing. Maybe in the next session we will cover. And if you don't want to wait for us to conclude or have those sessions out there, you just go through our academy. You have a course available on C in order to get the certificate, that is completion certificate. And plus we have courses available on our YouTube channel as well. We have a 3 to 4 hours course on C, 3 to 4 hour course on this as well. Will it print false statement or 0? In this case, okay, it will print Boolean. That means either a false or either it can be a true or a false. So it will print true or false. So obviously this true is nothing but a 0. Okay, okay, Varun. Okay guys, if you have any confusion, just quickly write it in the chat, else we are going to conclude this session. Thank you so much for watching this session. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Okay, okay, cool guys. So I will see you in the next session. Tomorrow I am having a session on divide and conquer algorithms. So wherein we will be talking about divide and conquer algorithms. Okay, make sure if you want to learn anything about algorithms, tomorrow we are going to discuss some algorithms which are based on divide and conquer approach. Okay, cool guys. Thank you so much for watching this session. I will see you in the next session. Okay.